Shohei Ohtani is finally throwing again, and this could be the biggest sign yet that his 2026 pitching comeback is still alive. But there's a major twist. The Dodgers may not bring Ohtani back as a normal starting pitcher. Dave Roberts has revealed a very different plan, and it could completely change how we see Ohtani's return. Shohei Ohtani is throwing again, and for Dodgers fans, that is huge news. After spending 2 weeks away from throwing because of his ongoing knee and biceps issues, Ohtani has finally started another progression toward returning to mound. And while this does not mean he is ready to pitch tomorrow, it is an important step forward. Ohtani began his throwing progression on Saturday before the Dodgers faced the Arizona Diamondbacks. The session started with throwing plyometrics before Ohtani moved onto the field and began playing catch. Eventually, he progressed to throwing from 90 feet. That might sound like a very small step for a player like Ohtani, but considering everything he has gone through recently, it matters. Ohtani has not pitched since July 3rd. His pitching comeback was originally moving forward, but the situation changed when continued soreness and inflammation in his left knee forced the Dodgers to remove him from the rotation indefinitely. Then another problem appeared. Ohtani developed an issue with his left biceps after his July 22nd bullpen session, which led to another shutdown from throwing. For a player who was trying to build himself back into a two-way star, another setback was obviously frustrating. But now Ohtani is throwing again. And that brings us to the biggest question. Can he actually pitch before the regular season ends? The answer is still uncertain. Ohtani himself hopes that he can progress quickly enough to return to the mound before the regular season is over. But the Dodgers are not going to rush him. That is especially important because the organization knows how much Ohtani means to this team. He is not just one of the best hitters in baseball. The Dodgers also believe his pitching can become a major weapon for them. And now Dave Roberts has revealed something very interesting about how that return could happen. According to Roberts, Ohtani will likely return as an opener rather than immediately becoming a traditional starting pitcher. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense. Think about what Ohtani has been through. He has dealt with knee inflammation. He has dealt with a biceps issue. He has gone through multiple throwing shutdowns, and he has not pitched in a major league game since July 3rd. So, expecting him to suddenly come back and throw 5 or 6 innings would be a massive gamble. Instead, the Dodgers could use him in a controlled opener role that would allow Ohtani to get back onto the mound without immediately placing a huge workload on his body. It could also give the Dodgers valuable information. How does his knee respond? How does his arm feel the next day? How does his velocity look? How does his command look? And most importantly, can his body handle the stress of pitching again? Those answers will determine what happens next. And this is where Ohtani's comeback becomes extremely interesting. If he successfully returns as an opener, the Dodgers could potentially increase his workload little by little. 1 inning could become 2. 2 could become 3. And if everything goes perfectly, perhaps Ohtani could eventually be used in a larger role. But that is still a long way away. Right now, the biggest victory is simply seeing him throw again. The Dodgers don't need Ohtani to prove anything during this stage. They need him healthy, because the ultimate goal is not just getting him onto the mound once. The goal is having Ohtani healthy when the games matter most. And that's why the Dodgers have been so cautious. They know that rushing him back in August could create another problem that affects September and October. But if Ohtani can gradually build himself back up, the Dodgers could have something extremely dangerous waiting for the postseason. Imagine a healthy Ohtani returning to the mound late in the season. Even if he is not throwing 6 or 7 innings, an opener version of Shohei Ohtani could still be incredibly valuable. And there is another reason this comeback matters. Ohtani's 2026 season has already been extraordinary. He has shown that he can dominate at the plate while also producing at a high level on the mound. So, if he can return to pitching before the regular season ends, it could add another major chapter to his MVP campaign. Of course, nobody should assume that the comeback is guaranteed. Ohtani still has to complete the progression. He has to throw more. He has to get through bullpen sessions. He has to test his body. And the Dodgers have to determine whether his knee and arm can handle the workload. But after weeks of uncertainty, there is finally something positive to talk about. Shohei Ohtani is throwing again. And that means the door to a 2026 pitching comeback is officially open. The biggest question now is not whether Ohtani wants to pitch. We already know he does. The question is how quickly he can safely build back up. And if Dave Roberts is right, we may not see the old version of Ohtani immediately. Instead, the Dodgers could introduce him slowly as an opener and then decide where to go from there. For Dodgers fans, that's probably the smartest approach. Don't rush Shohei. Build him up. Protect the knee. Protect the arm. And hopefully get him ready for October. Because if Ohtani can return healthy when the postseason arrives, the Dodgers could suddenly have another weapon that nobody wants to face. So, what do you think? Should the Dodgers use Ohtani as an opener when he returns, or should they wait until he is ready to pitch multiple innings? Let me know your opinion in the comments. And if you want the latest updates on Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers, make sure you subscribe. Because this comeback story is far from over.